No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Shout out my man Remo for lining up this interview with DotCom Nirvan, somebody that I've been seeing doing their thing in the underground and like really paving a way for themselves. And yeah, I'm stoked to be having a conversation, man.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. I've been watching this since I first started editing, and I was watching it in the background while I would edit like overnight and stuff. So this is crazy. This is genuinely crazy.
When I like, cause last night I was just like watching tons of your videos and like trying to like kind of spot the themes and like how you've sort of progressed and like what different avenues you've been like kind of going down and stuff. And then as I was searching your name, I found like a interview that you did with Cole from like 3 or 4 years ago, which I watched that, and it was really interesting to kind of see you like a little bit earlier in your life, because I feel like you're somebody who's kind of like doing what he did like pretty similarly, I think, by just having like really strong taste and choosing to be like really progressive with the videos and wanting to kind of build a brand and an identity for yourself through that.
For sure. He was definitely the one that like even made me know that that was an option. Cause there was AZ Productions before, obviously, but he was like so like integrated with Sosa that it kind of wasn't, it was his own thing, but not almost. And it was so tied to Chicago. But Cole was like, there was a couple ways to look at it, is like, just do it DIY, build your own channel, which is a struggle. It's really hard to build your own channel. I found out afterward, or there was like, try and get into like get to know the label commissioners and get the bigger budgets and stuff. But I wanted like my own name and like some level of like control over my thing. So I went his route. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So where are you from exactly?
Sacramento.
Okay. And what was your childhood like?
I was playing baseball and like pretty normal, pretty into video games like as a kid. And then by high school, I was doing like just media. Like I quit all sports and I was just in the media room. Like after school, we would do like the school bulletins. Did you guys have that?
I'm not sure.
Like in homeroom, they would play like, here's the news for the day, guys. And then we would do the skits. Me and my friend Jack would do the skits.
I was a part of my program at my school.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, it was awesome. Like, and then the whole school gets to watch it and you're all like in class, all embarrassed. But it was like cool to be a part of it. So that's how it started.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah.
What were your influences at that time that made you curious about media and
like a lot of YouTube channels, like obscure YouTube channels. Like there was this one called Good Neighbor Stuff, where all three, it was like an old YouTube channel that was like goated. Really, like YouTube comedy really had an era at some point, and they all three made it onto SNL.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That was like the biggest influence, because we were just doing comedy stuff. Like I wasn't even thinking about music videos until later on.
Okay, and then how did that kind of progress? Like when did you start doing? Did you do the comedy skit thing for a while, or?
Yeah, I just did it. Nothing on YouTube. Actually, yeah, we did start a channel that I think my friend like hid, who was like the other half of it, because it's like so brutally embarrassing. But we were doing the comedy stuff on the Bulletin. Then after that, I thought I was going to be a journalist. I went to school, like to one of like the top journalism schools. I thought that's what I was going to do.
And what kind of journalism were you thinking that you were going to do?
Political or sports. In high school, in junior year, I was Sacramento Kings. I'm from Sacramento. It's like the only thing we have really. And I found a blog that let me write for them about basketball, about the Kings specifically. And then I got like a media pass, season-long media pass for the Kings. So I was leaving school early, going to every game, practice, like interviewing. Like my first interview was with DeMarcus Cousins, and I asked him some shit that he like hated.
What'd you ask him?
I asked him, their starting point guard was out that day, and then the last play of the game came down to the point guard having to get him the ball, and obviously the second string was a little more scrubby, so he wasn't able to get him the ball. So I asked him if he thought that made the difference, and he was pressed. He didn't like that.
As an interviewer, you got to do shit like that.
You got to do shit like that. And I'm like 17, I'm like, sorry, Mr. Cousins.
Yeah. But did you not really know what you were doing? You were just saying it because it was the first thing that came to mind?
Yeah, I didn't know what the
okay, so how old were you when you decided that journalism wasn't it?
Like as soon as I got to college, really. Like after a semester, it was just so uninteresting. It's like such a farce. It doesn't really exist. Do it on your own if you're going to do it. And it was just so obvious to me.
Right, just because you saw that the prospects were limited in terms of who you could get hired by?
Yeah, it's like I could go sit at the White House and receive the same press conference that everyone else gets, and be a part of this shell of an industry that doesn't really actually do anything.
Yeah, and that has been shrinking so much for the last like 10, 15 years. And
it's completely choosing what it covers and what it doesn't, and like a whole list of things. But really, more than anything, I was not interested, and I was getting trippy. I was taking getting high a lot, taking a lot of psychedelics, really, the 18-year-old, and then found like the Little Boat tape and stuff like that. And I was like, oh,
really?
This is the one.
Yeah. That did it.
Like, yeah, it was like Bo, Life of Pablo, and then Cole's channel, and yeah.
That's interesting because I feel like you could, like, this is two very different paths. Like, if you want to go down like the journalism route, it's like this is very serious and fact based, but then it seems like you went in a totally different direction with wanting to do shit that was like purely creative.
It seems so important to me. Like, I don't know if it was like the LSD constantly or what, but it just seemed like really, I don't know, important, because what other people were doing that I loved had a real impact on me. Like Raheem Is Blind, like you were with Raheem.
Shout out
like
Raheem.
A lot that early.
He was on
like
the early Pump tour, for those who don't remember.
Yeah, he was like one of those directors that was like making me like, oh my god, I have to do this. Like,
doing a lot with nothing.
Doing a lot with nothing, and animating on footage, and like doing all that was blowing my mind at the time that had never been done. Like I remember the feeling, bro. Like,
yeah, because it's easy for people to forget, because now when you think about Lyrical Lemonade, you basically just think like this is a crazy business that Cole built from nothing.
Legacy brand, yeah.
But when it came out, it really stood out to us because we're kind of coming out of this era of music videos just being kind of like stale and boring and stuff.
Totally.
And then he was really like with the formula and spicing shit up a lot. And that was what made a lot of us pay attention in the beginning before it even became like, oh, he might not post that much, but it's like very consistently dope and is supplying you with new artists at a time when everybody was like finding out about new rappers on such a consistent basis.
Yeah, and it was different because it was like it was reachable to me. I felt like I could reach out and touch it. Like they were in Lil Pump's kitchen right now. I'm in college, like in my dorm room. Like these are things that I could do and like get myself. And then the way he's doing it, like I hope people don't forget, like the couple years after that, like those style of effects that he was doing, like the early stuff that wasn't as polished, but you could tell he was doing it himself, just became like took everything over for like a little while, even working its way into vlogs and stuff. If you remember, yeah,
definitely. Because now his shit's so professional that it's kind of like you don't tie Cole to like any one specific style because he's kind of done so many different things.
Yeah.
But okay, so you were still in Sacramento though when you decided that you wanted to go hard into the music.
I was in DC. I was at school in George Washington University doing journalism, and then I was living in a frat house, and I made my first video there. And it took like a few weeks because it was an animated video, and I had to learn like how to do it. And then all my frat bros were like, "What's wrong with you? Like he's not even partying with us, man." You know what I mean? And I'm like, valid, but now I gotta grind.
So you taught yourself like how to do animation?
Yeah. It's trash animation. It's a wintertime video. If you guys remember wintertime,
I know.
It's very.
It is wintertime.
I don't know. I think I'm one of the only people who still talks to him from time to time.
That's
really? I would say, yeah.
I almost feel like I had an argument with Wintertime about Lil Pump stealing his flow.
Easily did happen.
Damn.
Yeah. Because the video, it was my first video ever, and it started blowing up when they had that feud on Twitter. I remember.
Yeah, they did. Okay, if they had a feud on Twitter, then it's definitely who I'm thinking of. Yeah, because I remember we definitely. Well, actually, I don't even know if I was involved in it. I might have just posted about it or something. But damn, that's a throwback person that I haven't thought about in a while.
And what video was this?
All the time too. That was just the first one that convinced me, like, made me delusional enough to just like leave school and start this shit.
And how did you get in connection with Wintertime to do that?
I just made the full video and sent it to his management, to their email, and then they just woke up to an email saying, "All right, we'll drop it."
Wow.
And then they had like a noisy premiere and stuff. And I'm so, when you're on the outside in, like we forget because we're like so into it, but like things seem way more grandiose when you're on the outside in and you haven't started yet. Like having a wintertime video, he's underground, and having a noisy premiere made me think like my life was changed. You know,
anything is possible.
Anything's possible. Yeah.
But I mean, that is the start of a resume that could realistically take you places, especially at that time. But that is like a really clever thing in terms of like advice that I would give to a young person trying to get in the game is like, maybe just make a whole finished, finalized product and just give it to the person that you want to work for.
Yeah.
Like if somebody were to like come to me and say, I want to do graphic design, it's like kind of like whatever. I've had a trillion people say that to me over the years. But if they came to me and said, look at these 10 No Jumper shirts that I designed, if I really with it, then I would probably like have to pay him. I would have to say like, all right, let's do business.
If it's good, it's good. And like look at Gibson Hazard, my good friend Gibson, who in my opinion is like the best music video director ever, is like he did a Drake, he went to a Drake concert, filmed it, grinded out an edit that was completely insane over like the course of 3 months, teaching himself 3D and stuff. And he's Gibson Hazard now. Now he did the Drake J. Cole video. Like that does work. Really, you should just, do some shit.
He did the Eternal Take.
Yeah, he did the album trailer too. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
So when you leave school, you get the noisy premiere of the wintertime video and stuff. Where do you kind of take that from there?
Dude, nowhere. I mean, they had a couple other wintertime videos that are super obscure that like no one really knows about. But it was brutal, bro. Like for the first couple of years, I had no like connections or anything. I connected with Brandon Thomas, the producer of You Guessed It by OG Mako.
Yeah.
On some DMing everyone in the world. Bet I DM'd you, but like DMing anyone, like link me, like just put me around this. You know what I mean? Please link me. Flew to New York to meet with him. I don't know, met a couple people there that didn't really accumulate to anything. You know what I mean? But you start. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just
meeting
start
people bit
snowballing.
by bit. Even if you don't meet somebody super important, it's just you're putting the pieces together.
Yeah. And then when I got home from there, I would go back to Sacramento, save up to fly somewhere, and come back and save up to fly somewhere. And then I flew to Atlanta to meet with Doo-Wop and Candy's manager.
Wow.
And they had me waiting there, bro. They had me waiting there for like 3 days before they linked me. Like
Really?
every hellish story in the book, dude, has been, I've gone through it. You know what I mean? And then we linked with them. Me and Candy did a video, and that kind of like started. Candy definitely started the entrance in the underground.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. But okay, were there times during that where you thought about giving up?
There was times when I was seeing my friends from school graduate, and it wasn't really, I don't know, I had like maybe 10 or 20,000 subscribers or something. And it was like, I wasn't going to give up. I knew that, but like waking up in like sweats or kind of panicky. Yeah.
Right.
Because real life happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I was thinking that when I'm looking at your channel is that you have about 300,000 subscribers right now, but you've done a lot of big ass videos, which like reminds me of just how difficult it is to like grow a following and an identity, and that you like a lot of people out there are thinking like, oh, if I shoot a YEAT video that does 20 million views, then I'm just going to be like popping and be able to do whatever I want. But like you've had to like fight hard to make this happen.
And it's been a fight every single part of the way, like getting videos on the channel and like dealing with management and stuff like that there's always like something about it that's a process. But I think if I had done more like IRL stuff, like BTS stuff with the videos, that would have grown it more. But those are the things I'm now getting into. But yeah, dude, building a channel is fucking, that's why I mean this is crazy, like to have a building that is the result of a channel you built, like fucking incredible.
Damn. So okay, do you feel like but do you think that was valuable long term? Because I feel like if Cole had been like doing vlogs, sticking the camera in his own face throughout the years, like maybe his identity of what Lyrical Lemonade is wouldn't be what it is today. Because I when I go back to the channel and I see some of the vlogs I did, I'm just kind of like, ugh, like part of me wishes that I had not done some of this on my channel,
really?
You know?
Yeah.
Even though some of it ended up being kind of legendary.
Is it like the subject matter of it, or is it?
There's just something so lame about going like this in public.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, maybe I think about it more because I'm older and maybe like the younger generation doesn't think it's weird, but at least back in 2016, 2017, vlogging was very corny in a lot of people's minds. And now a lot of times I see younger YouTubers and get into the studio with rappers and they're so comfortable just sticking the camera in their face and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, because the rappers now are like on board with that.
With it almost across the board, but I still feel like that initial fear of doing it, because if we're gonna do a video, I don't want to blow it right now and like overstep and then the later thing up. And
you kind of want your identity to be this like serious professional videographer and not somebody who's like clout chasing trying to make themselves famous, right?
I don't want to be clout chasing trying to make myself famous, but I don't want to be like a serious like I don't know, videographer, and because like I don't know, I want it to be like fun and silly, and like that's what I like. I still want to do that comedy like later in life, like you know what I mean. So yeah.
So when did you decide that you wanted to? Because you become a tastemaker in here. Like a lot of people go to your channel to figure out and discover artists. Like how did you decide? Like, you know what, I want to put these videos strictly on my channel.
It was a few things. There was a conversation with Cole where we we really talked about it, and like he insisted that if that's what I want, then that's what it's got to be. But I don't know. It's definitely the harder route, I would say. It's definitely the harder of the two routes, rather than going the industry route. But I wanted my own. There's things now that are happening, like certain deals that I'm doing and stuff like that could only be the result of that. And I knew that it was something. And I wanted an audience that I could take with me in like whatever I make. If I make a short film or I make like an animated series that's like comedy or something, I want them to come with me. Even if it's 300K is not the most, but even if it's a fraction of it.
But I was like a video director that is from the ground up. I think it's still pretty impressive. Thanks. But I mean, it's kind of like the choice for an artist is like, do you want to put your video on WorldStar or one of these bigger platforms that will post your video for a little bit of money or whatever, or do you want to do it yourself? Because I've seen a lot of rappers over the years who will have their first 5 or 10 music videos on WorldStar, and they'll become pretty well known through that. But then meanwhile, they don't have their own YouTube channel that has subscribers. Like Dex always had that problem. Dex's videos were on World Star, they're on Lyrical Lemonade, they're everywhere, never really on his own channel. So now when he does a comeback song or project, he doesn't necessarily have the platform for it. Yeah,
totally. That's a really good point. And that's a point that when like a management or something tells me that, I'm like, okay, like I don't try to force it, but sometimes there's certain videos I can tell like you should give me this one, like it'll do better. It almost always does better, you know what I mean? Than the artist page.
Do you shoot videos for artists and not put it on your page at this point?
No, I haven't. I did one last year for like one of the biggest albums of the year, but the song got scrapped like a couple days before the album. But certain situations like that, yeah, I'll do it.
So you got paid?
Yeah.
But the song never came out?
The song never came out, and it was like big album of the year.
And you signed an NDA, so you can't tell us what?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
How does that feel as a creative that
it's so brutal.
You thought of this as not just a project you were doing for somebody, but this is like charting the progress of you as a video editor throughout your career, and that this was an important step to just not have that come out?
It was, dude, that video would have been a life changer. Cole told me that too. I showed him the video and yeah, it sucks, dude. It's the worst. Like I was super sad for a little bit. Yeah. But like, I don't know. You just got to trust that another one like that is another unicorn video will come along. Yeah. Because there's a lot of stuff like doing the channel thing. The amount of stuff I passed up that like I'll tell someone, they're like, what? Like Blink 182? Like, you know what I mean? And they just like lose it because like they can't believe. But I care about the channel. I want to put people on and like have it be for people who really need it, or like some cool cultural thing like Zach with FTP and Sosa and like what we did there. Yeah. I don't know. I want it to like mean something. You know what I mean?
How'd you get approached about that in particular, even though we're now going super out of order, but I'm just curious.
Zach just DM'd me and I was at lunch with my mom. I was super hype. He said he had a track for me. I know what he does, so I knew it would be something cool.
Yeah, I actually have to have that conversation with him because I want to know what like the business model is for FTP Records and how he plans on going with that.
Yeah, I think if he just keeps dropping, he'll get big offers to furnish a full label or something along those lines.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I wonder what his deal is with Chief Keef, because I know they've been friends for a long time, but I mean, obviously Sosa can do whatever on his own as well. Yeah.
He sure can, yeah. Getting that video was like, wow.
Yeah.
He was like the one that when I was doing those, getting high and doing those psychedelics and like thinking about how I wanted to do this, I was bumping Sosa and like yelling, Saul's by, you know what I mean? Like,
that was like a full circle.
Yeah, dude. And he was so cool, bro. He was so cool. Yeah. Like the green screen fell over. We had a green screen popped up in front of his house. Sosa goes down and he starts picking the shit up and picking the pieces up. I'm like, buddy.
It's weird to see him be a human being, right?
Yeah, I'm like, pal, you're Chief Keef. Like, get a grip here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's sick. Yeah. But so, okay, back in the early stages, after you did, who'd you say, Doo-Wop and Candy Paint? Mm-hmm. And then where'd you kind of go from there? Like the early days, I'm interested in like what the sort of progression of artists was.
Just grinding, like go shoot something, go back home, work on it for way too long, and then go shoot something. It was like the people like ATL Smook, like Booth Boy IC, like that kind of scene. The scene has changed so much, like, you know what I mean? But it was people like that, yeah. And those people helped me start this for real. And then a big turning point was like NGYL probably. Because do you guys know YL? He's a South Carolina rapper. He was on tour with Uzi for Pink Tape. Him and Uzi are like best buds.
Okay.
But we did a video called Catch a Kill, and there was a couple videos like that were like actual good videos that kind of more underground people started to.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Like when you're talking about having like whole videos that you did not come out like that is such an important part of being a young person trying to make it in the game or whatever, is that you just have to be willing to accept a bunch of disrespect and a lot of wasted time along the way, because like nowadays if somebody doesn't show up for an interview, like it sometimes can be kind of frustrating, and like my ego almost wants to step in and be like, well, him, and like I'm not going to show up for this again. But I always just try to like fight back against that, and like that's why Dex has rescheduled on us 5 times over the past couple months, you know?
Yeah.
And that's somebody that I've done content with like a million times. But to me, it's like, whatever, bro, just schedule him again. Like I'm down to keep trying. You know?
Yeah. It changes. I mean, you can also, is it more that like you feel established now, so you feel like okay about?
Yeah. But part of me is just like, in order to be a person doing content in hip hop, you just have to be down for a whole bunch of
Yeah,
because that's just how people are. Like, people are just hella forgetful. They're hella late, and you just gotta be flexible with it. You know.
That's what it is, dude. That's what it is. 100%. We were supposed to have that video out. It was supposed to be performed on Saturday Night Live, the single that we did, and the video was supposed to come out the day before, obviously. Yeah. And the writer's strike made that not happen.
Whoa.
So let's get AI going to replace these.
I feel it.
I'm kidding.
So yeah, because like one thing early on, like, what I was watching, you were doing your podcast too.
Yeah.
So that could you say your journalist side? That's what made you always wanted to be in the podcast space as well.
Yeah, I just listened to so many like you listen to so many so many hours of editing all accompanying a podcast. Like I went through all of it. You know what I mean? I searched all like the old interviews that you guys did and comedy podcasts and stuff. So I was like, let me give myself something more to listen to and to like other editor kids like me who might, you know, be interested in whatever artist I'm talking to and shit. And it's fun. Like I like doing this shit. I really like it.
Yeah. One thing I tripped out about, you said like you actually like will listen to podcasts while you edit interviews.
Yeah.
How does that work? Because
you have to, bro, like editing it's hard to make something good. It's hard the discipline to sit there is longer hours than, I don't know what. There's other art forms. Okay, whatever art form you do that takes longer, like it's fine, but takes a long time, takes a lot of hours, and I gotta force that inspiration. You know what I mean? Because if you lose it, like the shit sucks.
Yeah.
But you have to maintain it for hours, so you got to have some music playing or like be in silence and just feel it within you, or have someone talking who really speaks to you, whose journey you might relate to in some way, like. You know what I mean? Because if that inspiration isn't there in the moment, then it's gonna show on screen.
Yeah. What is like your process when you're editing a music video? Because I've edited a lot of vlogs and shit over the years, but I've never really edited anything that wasn't like chronological. So when you're sitting down, if you had to kind of like break it down into phases of what the edit looks like, because a lot of your recent videos especially have just like the most insane special effects, and I can't even imagine what goes into that. Like, is there an order of operations of how you kind of think of it?
Yeah, there's like two genres of videos I would say that have different orders of operation. One is like full underground. It was me with my camera. I just have to sauce something and make it crazy. Like the YEAT videos were all that shit that I was doing. Those I just get as high as possible the whole time I'm editing, and just everything VFX to cutting all comes together at once. Like I'll put a clip down, completely sauce it out, do the transition, whatever, and then that's the only clip. There's no other clips in the whole time, and then I'll start with another clip, and then I'm just watching it over and over, and then okay, this could come right after, and then it slowly, like the puzzle starts to build. It's very inefficient, but like it works with making the shit look, like forcing it to look cool. And then the other version is like the Chief Keef video. There's a little bit more infrastructure there, and I can just lay out the whole thing like, and then put notes of what happens. Like in this green screen shot, he's on top of the building, the bullets fly toward the camera, this and that, transition here, this and that. And then we take that, and that one I had a VFX team to go through each thing and work on it together. But a lot of times it's just me like willing it to be something cool, like from like regular footage.
Right, because yeah, some of the biggest videos that you've shot, it's basically just the performer in a room, and then you just have to go fucking nuts in post to make it stand out.
Yeah, which figuring out how to do that is a challenge every time, and that's where this stuff comes in.
You're a real big believer in weed, huh?
I mean, for that kind of editing, it's a superpower a little bit.
Why do you think that? It makes you more creative, or it just helps you do boring shit for a long period of time without freaking out?
Because that for sure. But you have to spawn something cool from regular or shitty, badly lit footage, you know, in a underground studio or something. So to spawn something cool that's also tasteful is a hard line to walk that the Kush helps.
Are artists like giving you like concepts of what they want, or you're just like
nah, for the most part, no. For the Glock video, we got on the phone and we came up with the idea together. That was really cool. He's super creative, like super fucking creative, especially for a street artist.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I feel like for you, one of the best things that could happen to you is basically like finding an artist early on, shooting their videos, and then having them kind of blow up from there. Is that pretty much what happened with YEAT? You started working with him before he truly blew up?
Dude, I truly blew up, yeah, but like to the scene, like to you, I'm sure you knew about him, knew he was the hottest thing moving. I was late, in my opinion. Like I was late, and I was lucky to get those few videos because he didn't like owe it to me, and he would have gone where he went probably. Yeah.
Not that late. It was still a little early though.
It was early to the layman, but not to people who knew, you know what I mean? So for him to do the videos and people always ask like, why aren't you working together anymore? Like, Bro, he doesn't owe me shit. He went so astronomical. He did 3 videos with me, which is awesome, off a great album. Like, what more do I want?
What if he hit you up and said, I want you to do, the lead video off my next project, but I want to put it on my channel? Would you still have to stand on business?
I would have to stand on business, but I would probably do it, but I would probably find some way to snag some content in a way that's like okay and tasteful and shit.
And would that be like, in your mind, it's like, well, it's a really, really good look for me, and then it's also like I kind of owe him for all the shit that he did for my channel.
For sure, and also, I mean, a BTS video of that, like a full-fledged out, like 20-minute BTS video of that could go hard, with like narration before and the whole thing. Yeah.
What was the first video you shot for YEAT?
Was it Turban
or Trendy Way?
Or Trendy Way? It was Turban. It was Turban. Yeah, and we shot in like 15
minutes.
He was like, I gotta go. He had to go pick up some money, and this is the most YEAT story ever. And I'm like, we've been here 15 minutes. Like, let's get like 2 more shots, please. And he was like, no, I gotta go. He gave me 1 more, and then they split.
1 more like full run through of the song.
1 more full run through the song. Yeah,
that's great.
And was it just like, to you, how does that feel going into the edit when you're like really not having too much to work with versus how you feel when you have too much to work with, where you shot 30 different takes?
Facts. I've done that so many times, dude, that I just know how to do it. Like it could have a couple takes, like literally. That Turban video probably has like 5 or 6 takes, dude. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm moving a couple of the takes. I'm cognizant of that in person. Like, you just get muscle memory of how to do a video shoot when you know it's just spray and pray. Like, okay, I have like 5 or 6 takes. This one I got to move around a lot to kind of pretend that it was all over. These are different angles all over the room or whatever it may be. And then that's the one where, again, I just like sit down for hours and get high and sauce it out. But he left early on that one. Yeah.
That's crazy, because that's a legendary video too. It's like,
yeah, thanks. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy just because, like, getting somebody like Blp Kosher, who's like kind of on fire as far as I'm concerned, to me is like one of the dopest rappers is like over the last year or so. Like, getting him to do stuff on your channel, is that a struggle at all, or is he just kind of down for the cause because he realizes that he likes what you're building?
It's that. A lot of time it's that, which is like super cool. Like, a lot of these artists are so young, and they've been watching my my videos for a few years now, so they see it as like a real like cultural stop, you know what I mean, as like something to do,
and
which I hope yeah.
Oh, sorry, but it makes sense because Lamb manages both of you at the same time, right?
Yeah, and we have a very close tie. I don't know if he was at the moment. Him and Kosher were like about to start working, but with someone like Kosher, like he had been watching the videos, and certain people, like the cultural aspect of things and where things are positioned is very important. You know what I mean?
Do you think of it as like you almost want to do videos that are so weird that like the traditional artist wouldn't really be asking for videos that are that extreme? Because sometimes your shit is like, it kind of has like its own identity.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to have that identity, and that's mostly for the channel, but I've done the other things like well enough to know that I can do both. So I want to be able to do everything. I want to be able to do all styles. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what's the name? Where did the name actually come from?
DotCom Nirvan. I had DotCom Crash, which is like the production company and like the LLC and stuff like that. And then DotCom Nirvan was like, people pronounce my first name all types of ways, like Nirvan and Nirvan and shit. So DotCom Nirvan made it hard to not pronounce right.
Right.
Yeah.
So what kind of background do you have?
A Persian, full blown. Yeah.
So is that a situation where your parents like really don't understand what you have chosen to do with your life, or are they
get it now? They get it now. My mom is so psyched now. Like, she thinks it's so fucking awesome, because this isn't a means to an end, but it's a means to an end in that I do want to do movies and like bigger stuff like that. And as she sees certain videos be a closer step to that, like the Glock 40 Spaz video, for example, like the action, like thriller kind of aspect to it, she gets more and more excited because she knows that what my end goals are. And in saying these are end goals, it's not that I want to like use the channel and like music videos to get there, but I want to get there and then take those resources and make it rain like Robin Hood style on all the shit, all the cool shit that these, young people are doing.
Definitely.
That's
yeah, because we were just saying, like, I was seeing in another interview you just did where, like, you're happy to be in the space, but, like, you're still just not satisfied with where you're at.
There's certain aspects of, like, being a videographer as a whole that I want to kind of, like, solve and, like, help change. Like, owning the music is a big aspect. Like, if a producer makes the beat for a song, they own a piece of that song. They can build catalog and go get a pub deal for hundreds of thousands, if not millions. And it's amazing. Like, so many of my producer friends are doing that. But a videographer never owns a piece of the song. They're like, it's like an advertisement for a product, which I understand, like the song already existed and stuff, but I want to figure out how to not have that be the case for myself.
Yeah.
So which I kind of have.
Do you do like partnerships? So like, say if an artist wanted to shoot a video on your page, or whatever, like it's some type of split you do, or
no,
they just cash you out and then it just goes on your page?
Up to now, period, across the board, except for Cole with like obviously his album and like the Lemonade song by Internet Money. I think he was a writer on. But besides that, there's no split. We own nothing of it. We get an upfront budget. We don't even get our upfront bag. We get an upfront budget with which to pay everyone to create this video. It's very interesting that like how bad business is, honestly, like for video, like bro, people front whole budgets. Like for this video I was talking about, we fronted like 100 bands almost.
Really?
For this video, yeah, and then you get it later, but you don't,
That's crazy because I would have thought that Cole by this point would have enough negotiating power to basically be able to partner up on records. Or I think
for sure, yeah.
I remember people saying that World Star would do that back in the day when they would premiere people's videos.
Really, I don't know. Maybe on the YouTube splits or something.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I think for the vast majority of it, yeah, it's not the case.
Wow, that's
So
interesting.
how picky are you now with like deciding on who you want to film with? Or
I've always been super picky, like super picky, down to the song. Like if it's a song, I've had so many artists that loved me 5 seconds ago hate me 5 seconds later because I was like, give me another song, like this ain't it.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the craziest person you denied a song that people were like, what the fuck, you denied him?
I mean, like Blink 182.
Oh yeah, that's crazy right there.
Yeah.
So what was it? The song you just wasn't.
It was when Lyrical did that first Blink video. It was around that time.
So it was around that time they wanted
Same
to
album.
have you do another project.
Same project, different song.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that was an interesting one too, because they put it on their channel as well as
And-
the Lyrical Lemonade.
yeah.
Had like an alternate cut or some shit.
Obviously, I'm not getting the Blink 182 video for the channel, but
Right.
and it's hard, like, bro, a video that'll make me like, I don't know why it's this way, but a video that I could just show up, direct it, have someone else edit it even, and not have it for the channel will make me way more bread. Those bags are crazy, and then I'll give those up for like, underground run and gun. Like I don't know what it is in my brain, but I just love it.
Right.
And I want to build it this way, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
ground up, for sure. Because I sometimes think about that too, is like, I'll have a whole day where I'll grind out like 3-4 interviews with like underground artists, and then I'll kind of be like driving home thinking like, you could have totally like done something with your day that was way more profitable than this. But I don't know, it's like, that's why you have to love it.
Yeah.
If you really
Yeah,
want your
dude.
shit to be cool, you have to love it enough to be willing to not, be profit maximizing at all times.
Yeah, because that you might have a large potential to make money, but you might spend that up really quick. You might use that up really quick, and then if you're just always monetizing your audience, then you could be looked at as trying to cannibalize them or whatever, just like take advantage too much.
Because we all see what businesses look like. Shout out to World Star. Once they start to basically just be money printing factories.
Do you think that was the case there?
Yeah, at a certain
Yeah.
point they got bought out by a fucking company that, from what I've heard, doesn't care about like YouTube views or like, building up their social media or anything, which is why their socials barely fucking do anything anymore. But they make legitimate money on their website. So
Interesting.
everything is about the website, about drawing traffic to the website, which is kind of weird because obviously websites are on the way out.
Yeah.
Like obviously a lot of people are kind of shutting down their blogs and shit like that. But for World Star, that's the business end of it. Like for me, if I wanted to like focus on making money on a day-to-day basis, would probably like focus on like trying to get people to buy more Instagram promo.
Right.
Which
right.
is, so it's like the most profitable thing is the most depressing, terrible, bad thing that you wish that you didn't even have to do at all.
That's often how it is.
Yeah.
That's really often how it comes at a price. Like anything that pays you also is taking something, time, whatever. Yeah. Influence. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Going back to like when you were experimenting with acid and shit, did it feel like there was anything in your brain that shifted as a result?
Oh yeah, big time. I was out there. I was like right teetering on the edge. Like
Really?
I got lucky, dude. I was doing it so much and just getting like, I just felt like this shit was so important. Like whatever I was gonna do creatively and like the shit that I was listening to, like the like I said earlier, like Yachty and like Burberry Perry and all the shit I was listening to, like the early Uzi Cardi shit, like it all seems so much larger than life and like crucial to me and like important. I don't know. You have this delusion, you know what I mean? As a kid and shit. And, but it turns into something and it's cool, but Yeah, don't do acid that much. It's too, bro. That shit was gnarly.
You went overboard with it for a while.
Yeah, dude, like going deep.
You still fuck with it ever?
No. Those years are over.
Do you have a bad experience that made you not want to do it again?
No, that's the problem. Amazing experiences every time. Yeah, just the best time ever.
But normally, if you have an amazing experience over and over, you're just gonna keep.
You're gonna keep
going.
doing it. But the bus drops you off further each time, and you got to walk a further distance because you gotta that shit. You know what I mean? Your brain is getting mixy. You got to walk that whole distance back. And then I went a little too far.
But what was like the key revelation that the acid gave you? Like, was it just that it was worth suffering to build this thing you really believed in?
Yeah, and I would have been in school. I would have been in school still, 100%. And I just like, you notice things, like, you're tripping and you notice things that people say that you feel are like, okay, in college it's a lot of like, oh, this class isn't actually that bad. Or like, tomorrow's Friday, like, let's fucking go. Like, anything to get away from the week, when they're studying the thing that they're going to do for the rest of their life, for like 30, 40 years until retirement. Like, the whole language, like the way people talk was like anything but those classes. Like, it's not that bad. Or like, oh yeah, Saturday's going to be, you know what I mean? So I saw a lot of that, and like, I just didn't want to do something that I would, have to do years of some shit I didn't want to do. Yeah.
Putting off reality.
Yeah.
Terrible feeling, a terrible way to live your life in comparison to actually just being present on a day-to-day basis.
Just facing it, yeah.
Yeah. When I was watching you and Cole do that interview, one thing that he said that I kind of had forgotten that his shit used to be like this is that he said that he would shoot sometimes like 10 videos in the course of like 5 days.
Yeah.
Were you ever like that? Where you were just grinding it out like that hardcore, and that shifted at a certain point?
Fuck yeah. 2022, the goal was a video every week, and we got pretty close. We got like 40 something.
Really?
On a year is like fucked. Yeah. Like doing videos like a couple in a day, or
What's the longest you think you spent on one video? Amount of time?
Definitely that unreleased one was like 2 months, like every waking moment.
2 months of editing, like every day?
Well, we were working with overseas VFX people, and so we had to stagger our sleep schedule. So me and my roommate, he owns a VFX company. We had to stagger our sleep schedule, so someone had to be up 24 hours a day. So it was hellish, bro.
Holy shit.
It was the hardest thing I've ever done.
What's it like working with a virtual or a VFX company? Because some of the stuff, what video is it that had like the crazy tornado that I was just watching?
Kosher.
Yeah, like shit like that. Is that primarily somebody else doing it, or is that you doing it?
Well, it's like you need someone you need a few people. You need someone with a computer even powerful enough to render that out.
Right.
I need to integrate it myself and like make it look right. But then I also need a guy to have like the light or like the dust around the tornado. He needs to have that mapped to the houses to bounce off the houses and shit. It takes a few people that you got to oversee every step of the way. So it's just like 4 a.m. and you're just, like on Discord, like, yeah, it looks good,
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's a grind, but it's fucking cool to see it come out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But,
how did you link with Trippie? Because you shot a lot of Trippie Redd videos.
Tripp had followed me like my first or second year doing this shit. I don't know what video it was that I made, like maybe a Slime Cito video that he saw or NGYL or something, but he had followed me like really, really early. And I thought that meant like, oh yeah, like it's time to work. So I was DMing him like over and over. And then nothing. And then one night he FaceTimed me. Like it was a random number, but I was like, I had an inkling. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get that feeling like, all right, let me pick this up. It might be something. And then it was Tripp at like 3 a.m. or something. We talked for like 3 hours that night. And then we shot like, I don't know, the next day or something. But he broke down. He had been really watching and paying attention for a while. And he broke down like what my place was, what I was doing, how I was different from this and that channel, or like what my niche was and stuff. Like he had really been watching, so it was cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I mean, Trippie is one of the very few dudes from the SoundCloud era that is like A, still alive, and B, still popular. Which is kind of crazy because so many of the people, he used to make songs with fucking Juice, and he used to, be going back and forth with X all the time, and obviously the whole 6ix9ine arc and shit, and the fact that he's still got like a real fan base and makes good music and shit is, there's not many people else from that era.
There's not, and people forget that, and they throw around the Falloff thing so fucking much, but things go in cycles. We've seen people dip between albums and or have an album that like didn't do so good and then come back. It goes in cycles, and I'm sure something's going to happen that everyone's going to be, loving it again, and then everyone forgets that they were just hating, No,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole like fall off conversation is kind of hip hop is like too consumed with that shit, because the reality is that if everybody even knows who you are to be having a conversation about whether you fell off or not, I mean, it's your career is going to go through ups and downs. Now, obviously, we all are aware of artists whose careers are clearly on like a permanent decline, and that shit does suck. But to start saying that somebody fell off just because, like, you know, maybe they haven't had a big album in 6 months or a year or whatever, like, people are just too eager to throw that shit on people now.
Facts. And how many millions is enough? Like, how many millions at the age of 24 is enough? Like, 30 isn't enough? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get what people want.
Moments.
Trippie, for sure.
And his business is so, he owns Liquid Death and he's doing all this cool business shit. Like, it's more, bro, it's more than just, you know what I mean? One thing. Yeah.
No, definitely. And I mean, even for me, like, I know what my life is like when I'm grinding interviews 8 hours a day, and what my life is like when I'm doing like a more manageable schedule and just actually kind of enjoying life. And I've gone on vacation for a couple weeks at a time and shit. And it's like, you know, like a lot of these rappers or whoever are kind of like in that sort of state where it's like, yeah, you could be on tour 24/7, in the studio 24/7. A lot of people get to a certain level of success and they're like, well, maybe I just want to kind of enjoy my life more.
Yeah. Because it's not as motivating anymore. Like, they've seen that bag a few times. Yeah. So it's not going to be like as special the first time. Yeah.
But do you feel like you're still working so hard on the video shit that you're kind of like putting off enjoying life because you're so in the zone still? You're still like building to such an extent?
Yeah, dude. Up to now, like my like young life or whatever, it's been completely consumed by this. Like, the amount of times I've been editing and I'm like, what day is it? And it's like Friday or Saturday night. And like anyone else my age would be like, what the move is and stuff. And I'm just like completely not thinking about it. Like, it's completely taken my life over. And that's how I wanted it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I want to live in the extremes, you know what I mean? Like, in whatever it is.
You're still like young, still like, I don't know. You have that like energy level to be able to work on something so fucking hard. Yeah.
And it's like older than like a lot of the new artists and shit are like, you know, 16 to 19 and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's like people older that I'm looking up to now, like actors and stuff like that, who are like, Academy nominated and shit like that, who see certain things and they're like, they see something about it and they're reaching out. So I know that all this work has led me, like, giving me this this base that I can really do all that shit that I want to do, because there's like too much that I'm trying to do.
I was watching an interview with Tony Yayo on Vlad, and he was talking about the difference between him and 50 Cent, and like he was saying that him and 50 were on the same like 3-month long tour, and 3 months they get back and Yayo is like, I want to chill with my dog, I want to sleep in, I want to like relax, I want to kick my fucking feet up and watch some TV and shit, take a day or two off. And that 50 is just like literally the day after this tour, he's still 100% on the grind and like never stops. Yeah. And I'm just watching that thinking like, I like that option, that A or B is there for me like all the fucking time of like, I could just chill, or it's like, no, or I could like live up to my full potential and actually just keep fucking going as hard as I can. Yeah. And it's like, you do have to find a balance as you get older and stuff, especially having family and shit like that. But I think you definitely, if you have that energy available to you, fucking go for it.
You have to use it. You have to expend it. And by the way, you've afforded yourself the opportunity to even, the luxury to even have that thought. You know what I mean? Like with someone trying to get there, it's not, if there are the type of person who's going to get there, that's not even a thought. You know what I mean? But like your platform went so crazy and so big, and that can go away. You know what I mean? Like you could have not caught that moment and not expanded or whatever you did, or invested more money to like make it like bigger, and lost that moment and fizzled out and wish that you went back to that moment and did this. You know what I mean? So it's also about that, is like being there when all that work does happen and you are afforded that opportunity to then like kick your feet back. A vacation sounds insane. Like sounds fucking mind blowing. I can't picture it. Yeah. I haven't done
motivated?
Just necessity and like, and finishing what I started and owing it to, you know, myself who started, and it's also like good, like money wise, you know what I mean? Like it's been like really, really, you know, awesome, and blessings, and, you know, pray, blessed, all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's easy to stay motivated. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just does. Yeah.
I'll work like Monday through Saturday nonstop, and then I'll take Sunday off to just chill around the house and be with the kid and stuff. But then you feel what you've kind of done to yourself for those 6 days prior, where it's like, it's hard to like not look at your phone. It's hard to be present in the moment because you're acting like a fucking robot throughout the whole week. But a lot of times I see it too. Like even when I did a video with that fucking Booba 100X kid from New York and shit. And like to him, it's hard for him to understand that, nah, like 8, 9 o'clock, I'm done. I'm going back to the crib. Yeah. He's like, nah, like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And I'm like, I know you got energy like that. I'm literally like twice as old as you. I need to go recover a little bit right now. But like, you know, for somebody like him, it's like you should lean into that fucking energy level while you have it.
Yeah. And I have been like the sleep schedule, like to afford the editing time, like the amount of hours in a day has been like, that's the only thing I'm worried about. Like, what have I done to my health in that aspect is like 5 years straight of basically sleeping opposite, like the opposite sleep schedule. Besides that, I feel good about how things are going.
What's a normal day for Nirvan?
Like wake up like noon, smoke, drink a coffee, smoke, and then start editing like 3 or something, then edit till 3 to 6 a.m. at midnight. A couple breaks.
So for every day, you're damn near editing?
For the most part. Like in the past like 6 months, I've been kind of like taking more meetings and setting up more business stuff, which like a couple of those things are about to come to fruition, which I'm super fucking excited about. And I wish they were already done so I could talk about them, but it's kind of shifted. I've been more like phone calling and like real personing, but besides that, just editing for like 12 hours.
What does a manager do for a person who's a music video director? Like how important is that, and how much has it changed your process?
Not that much, honestly. Like they rub elbows. They know other management teams. They try and get videos and help with. It's like another helping hand. You know what I mean? Makes things like a little few percent easier. Not too big of a difference.
Because it's like while you're doing all this insane schedule of work, you're not going to studios and bumping into people or going to parties and running into people that might want to give you work. You kind of like need somebody to socialize on your behalf.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah. And he's good for that. But, I love doing that shit when I am able to like go do those things, you know what I mean? Cause those do lead to projects. Like, those lead to a lot of gigs. That's really true. That's something I need to be more mindful of. I haven't been able to do that as much.
How did you and Lim lock in the first place?
He hit me up and he helped me make the Swaggin' Like This video happen with Tana and Lancey. People don't know, me and my manager, like completely willed that video into existence. It was not going to be a thing because they just weren't linking up. Tana was, or Lancey was like super rock star timing, you know what I mean? He wasn't linking. And then we just hit his manager enough times and then had them pull up to the store and just got a shot. Yeah. But that was how he like kind of
an issue.
Yeah. Because like usually managers try to do something for you to have you understand what it'll kind of be like and what they can bring to the table, and then that was that.
And at this point, he's managing Kosher at this time already?
No.
So Kosher was after.
I remember he called me in like October or something and was like, look at this kid, like should we sign this? By him, he just was getting my opinion for if he should manage this guy. And I saw like Jew on the Canoe, I think it was, or maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe it was the Knock one, but. It was like fucking mind blowing, and I was like, "Yes, like you gotta do it, you fucking have to." And then he did it right away. Yeah.
His show at the Roxy was crazy.
Dude, he's such a legend.
Yeah, he was there for sure.
We were in Florida together, and he was showing me like the old like skate spots and like his skate park he went to and like the sandwich spot. He's like really sentimental. Like a skate park that he loves is like deep in his heart, and you can tell when he talks about it. Like
I saw that in that Nardwar interview they did with him too. Nardwar kept mentioning random skate parks, and you could just see it that it made him like really genuinely happy to be able to talk about that shit. Yeah.
Like when you hear Kosher say, nah, like you really know something struck a chord.
But that is a big part of why he's interesting, is because to see a skateboarder who's also like a dope ass rapper is fucking weird, because most rappers so don't understand how happy a flat ledge could make you or how many memories you could have. Because when you're trying to trick on a flat ledge, it's like you just might try that shit 800 fucking times in a row, and it just becomes like part of you. Like it's just such an intense memory of you just sweating your ass off trying to do this one trick. And like Kosher is clearly like good enough that he's been through those fucking battles. Yeah. And it's weird to have a rapper who like gets that.
Yeah. It probably gives you another wavelength, huh?
Yeah.
Of like just getting up and trying again over and over. Cause that takes that's physical pain too. It's different than like even emotional or like just discouragement or something. That's real. Like you're falling hard.
Yeah.
No, I really think that like skateboarding in general brings that out of people, I feel like. And I wish I had got into it. I didn't have the bounce.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed with rappers and like skaters, BMXers, etc. is that rappers just have like an inherent huge amount of respect for that shit, even though they don't necessarily get it 100%, but they have a lot of respect for it because they can tell that it's real and that this is something that you earned, and you wouldn't be able to grind this fucking 10 stair unless you had just really put in the work. Whereas everybody in the rap game is always super aware that a huge percentage of all the people and the shit around you is fake.
Yeah.
And there's just no denying it. That this dude went and got these chains so he could present himself as something that he's not. Every rapper has to have their antenna up for that at all times. But with skating and shit, it's just like, if you could do the 10 stair, you already know. Like, it's 100%. You put in the work. There's no denying it.
It's not like he just tried it that one time and it was a fluke and he landed. It's not possible.
There's no such thing as a fluke when it comes to that shit. Like,
which is so crazy.
You're going to have to skate for years before you can do a kickflip going fast down the street.
Oh my God, I can't. Dude, I split my lip open like trying to ollie. Like, I'm hopeless on a fucking board. But I totally fucking agree, bro. That's why, like, you appreciate people like that who are, like I said, like in the extremes of whatever they do. This guy fell 100 times to learn this trick. This guy put this many hours into this. Like, this, you build this thing. Like, it all, that's the shit that I love that makes me, puts the battery in my back, like, every time. Yeah.
Definitely.
You almost had to deal with FaZe?
Yeah, fuck. God, that sucked.
FaZe Clan, right?
Yeah, FaZe Clan. Like, we built this deal for like the course of like, dude, 8 months or something. It took so fucking goddamn long. Should have seen the writing on the wall, but yeah, it didn't. They basically, like, someone in the building by the end of it told me, like, brought me aside and was like, look, things aren't good here. Like, it's falling apart. And don't do it.
And what was the deal going to be? Just you directing a bunch of different content for them?
No, it was for DotCom Crash. It was like for my own operation, to have all their social media people totally max out the channel and help with the short form content. That we had a YouTube studio, like a small version of this, or a podcast studio. We had funding for like shows and merch and releasing singles each year, and it was a 3-year deal, so it was just a budget for each year. And it was like a dream scenario, bro. It was a dream deal. It was
like $1 million deal, wasn't it? Some
more. Yeah, it was like a couple. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
FaZe is such an example, though, of like, if you start something and you love it and then you just let it get away from you and it just becomes out of your hands. Because like,
totally.
FaZe Banks was just building that shit for all these years, and then they get investors and shit, and then they just start losing money and they go public and it doesn't work. And it's like, I don't know. That's just got to be like fucking heartbreaking to spend your life building this brand that's huge. But now when you talk about FaZe, you don't necessarily have like a positive storyline come to mind because you know about all the bullshit that's happening to them.
Totally, dude. That's so true. And like, if people think like, oh, Banks is rich, like what could he be miserable about for? But like, if you're rich, but the thing that like you built like isn't, you build that whole thing yours. And it's not like fulfilling you anymore. Like, damn. Because then where do you go? You don't have like that grind to get, more money and stuff. You're already comfortable, but you also don't have like your baby. Yeah. So that's got to be tough. Yeah, totally, dude. And I saw it like being in the building. Like I saw it thin out literally week to week. A few less people. Till the last time I went to do like this Xfinity thing, there was like 3 people in that spot. Wow. And I was at the Going Public party. That must have been like one of the things they were going to use some of that funding for, was my thing. Like, that was like the first step of the courtship process, I guess, was the Going Public party. And it was epic, dude. Fucking Uzi was on stage and shit. It was sick.
Yeah, that sucks though, right?
But I mean, like, I really think that is how it had to happen. I really think it's how it had to happen. Because now I've been offered deals like little imprints or like have a JV here or something for like 3 years now, since the YEAT shit pretty much. But now, I'm doing like the first couple of those. I'm doing like a couple deals for the first time, which I'm excited about. Which I wouldn't have been able to do if I did the FaZe one. So
I remember Cole tweeting about being offered like, I forget if it was 10 million or 100 million. I think it might have been $100 million.
It was like 30 M's or something.
Some crazy deal for Lyrical Lemonade. Yeah. And I remember at that time just being like, fuck, like that's got to take a shitload of self-belief to say no to that. You know?
Yeah, big time, dude.
Would you sell your company?
I mean, it depends. Like that's a very different place. Like what I'm doing is like these situations I'm talking about are like to own the music, like to be able to distribute music and be able to get some ownership, because again, that's like the biggest problem I see with like my gig. So if that catalog gets big, like sell the shit that you're selling assets, right, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
if it makes sense.
A shitload of different performers and stuff have kind of totally normalized that over the last few years.
Yeah.
Now you're not surprised at all when you see people do it.
Doing what?
Selling the catalog or
No. It's like a house. Like you buy a house and own it and then sell it. Like owning some music is like, it's like the TikTok things they make of like buy real estate and then rent it out and you'll get this money per month. Like that's, you know what I mean? That's what you're doing. You're getting paid monthly. Like that's the goal.
Yeah, and you can't take it with you when you die. So
Yeah.
you might as well, right?
Might as well, dude.
I mean, having a bunch of money up front is like people fetishize ownership, but like getting a bunch of money right now for a lot of people would be a lot better than getting a reasonable amount of money every year for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
Especially if you're smart with it.
Definitely.
What's some of the favorite music videos you shot?
That really like that Glock one, that Glock 40 Spaz one, because I finally got to like do storytelling, and that's more like the avenue I want to take with it. I really like the Slump Sixes one video. That's like an old one, but I fuck with that one. The Chief Keef video, obviously, that was the one that was the most like, that was the best feeling of dropping a video. That was some surreal shit, bro.
Yeah.
That really meant a lot to me. Like I shed a tear. I'll admit it. You know what I mean? My mom shed a tear, dude. She's heard me talking about Chief Keef for 10 years.
Chief Keef's like a dream artist that you wanted to work
The
with.
dream. When I did my OGM interview with Hakeem, it was like, that's who I said. Yeah.
Wow.
Sosa, bro.
You've spoken into existence.
It's so crazy. And now I can say I had been offered a Sosa video like 2 years ago. And I was so, I don't know if deluded or I was so gung-ho on the channel that they wanted one for his channel, one for mine, just even trade. Totally should have said yes. It's insane that I didn't, but I'd pass it up to try and get just one.
Respect the fact that you just still said no on, like you stood on that, even though that was your
It's
dream artist.
crazy. Yeah, it's kind of tripping.
crazy.
I was in the wrong on that one. I get some water, my voice cracking.
Sure.
Yeah. So, all right, you got the Sosa video. Who else would you want to work with? Like, if your dream artist?
Uzi for sure. Super Fuge.
That'd be big.
He's up there with Sosa. He might be like the biggest. Like in college, that's Dirty Sprite 2. God damn, man.
The vibe.
It's like, bro, it's these albums that just in that time period between, I don't know, 17 and 19, like that music that you love is like is your music. And it means so much. Like it's so palpable. I'm trying to find that feeling again.
Because you're really trying to figure out who you are, and music helps you figure that out during that time period of your life. And so that's why it's almost impossible for me to imagine like finding music that would make me as passionate as I was during that time period. But that's why you have to always remember when you see, you know, mobs of teenage kids freaking the fuck out about Cardi or whatever, it's like that thing that they're feeling is real, and like you're foolish if you ignore that. That shit is like, and it's actually it's very liberating to realize that kids are just going to keep having that experience, even if it's totally disconnected from the shit that I was into when I was a kid. You know,
just seeing it makes you. Why is that? Just to know that still is real and exists.
Just that there is like a real connection that even still takes place in that way, because I guess with like so much content now, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, you're just used to content being like very, very disposable for kids.
It's totally arbitrary. Yeah.
So to see them feel that strongly about Cardi or whatever rapper it is that is like capturing them, it's dope to see that that's still possible. Because sometimes when I think about how much I love Jay-Z or Nas or whatever, part of that is the throttling of information, because if I wanted to get a new CD, I had to go to the store and spend $15, and the labels are only putting out so much stuff, and as a rapper it's hard to get noticed, etc. And now we live in this era where there's a billion fucking songs that you could go listen to at any moment for free, and it doesn't feel like music's as special, but it's liberating to know that it's still that special to a lot of people.
To a certain, as long as it's that special to someone. Is anything that special though? Like anything content or entertaining wise?
I mean, I think for people who are down to like really sacrifice and put in the work to make stuff that is that important, like even it's kind of like a weird extension of it, but even somebody like Trap Lord Ross who spends a year or 6 months on a video or whatever, like I respect the fuck out of that, because I've seen so many people that had his opportunity that he had, and instead they decided to just kind of churn out mid shit on a consistent basis. So to see somebody who's down to take 6 months to make a video is actually fucking dope, because that's like believing that content could be special enough that it's worth spending that amount of time on, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And having like an artist or a creator or whatever, like having that sort of belief in their own thing is like, that's fucking, I love conversing with those people and like because that energy like runs dry and then you re-up on it and then it goes away and then it comes back. And it's like a constant like fight for that. It has been my experience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you feel like, well, what do you still really want to do right now that really stands out to you, like things that you just have to check off before you could feel like you've kind of made it as an artist?
I really want to do the music distribution and like have like A to Z direction over like certain songs, and like really see that through with videos and stuff. But I want to direct movies and I want to make TV. I want to make cartoons, like extremely. Like I've had a bunch of cartoons like in the vault that I've like always been making, but either a YouTube with like all of these cartoons or like, do you know Freezer Tarps at Freezer Tarps? Chetty, he's always talking about Zinachinos, Upper Deck Zimbabwe's, the Zin culture, all the Zin terms.
I do know about Zins via Nelk Boys and Tucker Carlson and shit.
Yeah. They got like in that Tucker Carlson interview, Kyle tells Tucker, this guy Chetty made all these terms. Like this is who we're referring to.
Oh, okay.
So we are starting a new thing to do like some IRL skits together and stuff. And we've been talking to Kyle about being involved with it and shit. So like I want to do, dude, there's too much. There's too much I want to do. But really like I want to do funny stuff. I want to do comedy in some way and cartoons and movies eventually.
Do you do Zin?
I don't do upper.
Or is it do you Zin? Like which was the better way to say it?
It's so many. It's like, do you toss lip pillies? Like do you hug Zimbabwe's? There's so many ways to say it.
When I did a Nelk Boys interview back in like 2018 or whatever.
They came on?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And they tried to do a prank that day at the store that was like pretending to be SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah.
But they were like kind of at this moment where everybody was starting to already know who they were. So no matter how dressed up they were, like mad kids in the line recognized them and shit. But during that interview, they gave me some fucking chewing tobacco and told me to try it. And I like stuck it in and I started like drinking the liquid right away.
No.
And they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I've never done this before. You have to tell me how to do this.
No tutorial, nothing. Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
But now they can get this out of the little fucking pouch.
Yeah, Zimbabwe's, it's like the clean version and shit. But it's too much for me. Like every time I've taken one, I've
I hear about people doing it and they end up having to take a nap right away because it fucks them up too much.
Dude, it'll have you spinning, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
You're from down south. You have much connection to this?
I know a whole bunch of people who did.
Oh, dude, they love Zinachino. Is like it has a whole culture.
Shit,
it's a whole culture to it.
Nah, for sure.
Which I'm not a part of, but I love it.
Yeah, I don't do it, but
holy shit.
Yeah.
So you've had like a bunch of artists on the channel that are kind of way outside the realm of just like rap and stuff. Like there's a lousy.
Yeah.
Where
It's
did
not lousy, dude.
I don't know. But where does that come from? And like, is that stuff that's being brought to you?
Yeah.
Does that feel like a big risk or a gamble on your part to go outside hip hop? Or
No, that song was like the biggest shit on TikTok.
Lost
so it's
ever.
already huge.
It was
man.
that was
Okay.
huge, and I knew it was a super good look for the channel. And then you just hope that you link the person that they're cool enough to vibe with. And then he's like the cool. I love that kid.
I
That kid is fucking awesome.
I met him at Sean's concert recently, but I've been tapped in with him.
But that was his label trying to make that move. Like let's put the his hit on a channel bigger than
You did the hotel video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, for sure. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Lossie's classic Sex and B.
Yeah.
I fucks with him.
Fuck with Lossie.
And when you shoot a video though, do you end up like looking at the number of subscribers you gain from that video?
Oh, yeah.
And is that a huge part of what motivates you?
Yes, it is a big part of what, I mean, I'm checking YouTube Studio like my fucking life depends on it. Like I'm sure you were there at some point when you were like
I'm there right now.
Coming up. I just want like the monthly subscriber gain to be at a certain point and this and that. But yeah, it's a big motivating factor, but also I know like I have to do whatever wave it is, like underground wise, I have to get involved and I have to help support and push it because one, it's going to do better than on their own channel. So I want to help like people that I think are fire and shit, but also like culturally that's important. You know what I mean? To like maintain. I don't want to just go have big mainstream videos and shit like that on the channel and then completely like abandon the whole thing. I want to take that bread and those resources and then bring it back.
Shed light to the underground.
Bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause it's like, you know that when you have 1 million subscribers, that your career is going to be in a different place than it is right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it might not be that you're making 10 times as much money, but it definitely, it'll put you in a different, category as far as a creator. And a lot of times, if you shoot a video and you spend a month editing it, and then you look at it at the end of the day and you got 10,000 subscribers from that video, it's like, you chose those 10,000 subscribers over X amount of dollars from other shit that you could have been doing that would have been more profitable.
Yeah.
But in the long run, that those subscribers, it's not easy to get subscribers as a YouTuber. But every subscriber you get is like building the snowball so that the next subscriber after that will be easier because of the sort of network effect of people like seeing that something's popular and then it's easier for them to comprehend that it matters.
Yeah, totally. And there's like that initial like YouTube channel inertia or whatever that you have to work through is like insane.
Starting
like to get
from
to
nothing,
1,000, dude. I don't know. It took 2 years or something like that, which I know is a lot, but to try to convince rappers to like drop on, bro, it is an insane grind. The YouTube channel, music video channel is an insane grind. Where like in 2016, 17, if you remember, like music videos were doing like hundreds of M's all the time. Like they were going viral way, way more often, way and more inflated of numbers. So having caught that time, like timing wise, I was a bit late there. You know what I mean? To catch that, yeah.
But I know every artist is trying to get a video shot with you right now, right?
It's a lot. I
know it's like everyone's.
I turn down people that I tell someone like, yeah, I turn down. What do you think? And they're like, what? Like, why would you ever do that? But it's like, I don't know. If I care, I care. It's hard to fake that.
Are you picking the songs like that you want to shoot?
Yeah.
Specifically? Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
Because I remember even like when Cole did his first Jack Harlow video, Jack Harlow mentioned that he had been sending Cole records for like over a year, 2 years, something like that. And then finally he got one that Cole believed in enough to shoot. I'm sure that was a big part of him taking off at that time. Yeah,
because you get that practice. Like, you start to get it down to a science of like, if this part of the song has changed, it'll do 5% better. Like, or if we choose this song over this song, it's literally 2x. Like, yeah. Like Turban, for example, we were supposed to shoot Get Busy that day, and then I pulled up and he was like, "Nah, I got an idea for Get Busy. I'm gonna do that later." But like, here are these like 20 songs, and we listened to them, and like me and that same roommate like really had to on the fly pick the right one because it's like 20 million views versus like 500,000 or 1 million.
Have you listened to the Lyrical Lemonade album yet?
Yeah.
I didn't listen to the whole thing yet, but I definitely think that's probably one of the craziest undertakings that I've seen somebody take. And I can't really imagine how difficult it would be because it's like you can get dope beats and you can get artists to rap on them and shit, but to be able to actually like make a bunch of songs that you really feel confident in, like think about how many like hard conversations there has to be along the way. Like if you get a Chief Keef verse and you decide that you don't think that's it, I mean, that's got to be a fucking hard conversation. Like
it's got to be a lot.
Can't even imagine.
It's got to be a lot, yeah. But when you have something like the channel to like put videos on, these guys are gonna be like, all right, like I want that. I want a quick like lyrical video. Like let me correct this, whatever he says goes and stuff. So it is about like your positioning, and it's just leverage like anything else.
Right. You kind of earned that, right?
Yeah. It kind of earned it. But like the situation I'm about to do is like similar. Like the thing with Cole is like he's finding the corrections for like the problem, like us not owning any of the music. You know what I mean? Like he has been able to correct that for himself, at least with this one project, which is like insane.
And Cole seems like a mentor. He's somebody who like shares the game with you and on a lot of shit, right?
He's given me like my most like valuable advice for sure. Really? Like each time we talk, it's like, and I rarely hit him up. Like he always tells me like when I see him like, why don't you hit me for like this or that or advice or something? But like one, who could be busier, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And two, like I don't want to have him feel like, you know what I mean? I don't know, little bro, or like, oh, I got to tell this kid what to do and shit. Like I want to figure.
How did y'all originally connect?
He just hit me up. He just said he was fucking with it. Yeah.
That's dope though, because he could have very easily looked at you and felt like you were competition and not wanted to help you excel, you know?
It's so astronomical though, like 21 million subscribers or 22 million. It's like,
at a certain point, you gotta start sharing the
blip
wealth
on the radar.
Because it's obviously like, he can only do so many videos, and a lot of the stuff that you do is like the type of shit that he probably would have done in like 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. I do think stylistically that we've both rubbed off on each other. I can definitely see things in his videos that were impacted by me for sure, and obviously vice versa, and to a greater extent.
No, I agree.
Do you think that a videographer could really build a name for himself just doing run and gun videos at this point? Because that's one thing with both you and him is that it seems like the videos take, you know, absurd amounts of time to put together.
Yeah.
Largely. Do you think that like a simplistic approach could still be successful?
Totally. I totally fucking completely think so, because if someone's inventive, then they get whatever, they get noticed. And doing the run and gun shit is good because there's no pressure to, you know, there's not like a big budget from a label and like an A&R standing there making sure everything's good. Like labels all the time just want you to shit out a video that looks good and is presentable. But if you're run and gunning and you are afforded those few years to just completely throw yourself into it and work, like that necessity of how am I going to make this room look cool will lead you to some stuff. Like with Lone Wolf, like the paper cutting shit, bro, that's a whole fucking, people are making whole careers doing scan edits and shit like that. Like that is Lone Wolf. Like he fucking invented that. I remember when I first started, I would hear about Lone Wolf so fucking much, like, oh, like Candy and like Doo-Wop and shit, like telling me and like gassing him up, and I was like very like low level and shit, but like because he invented something new. Like same with Cole, he invented something new. So I do, yeah. To super long-winded answer, but yeah.
Yeah, you can't just like do good work. You have to also be inventive. You have to bring new shit to the table, whether it's artists or just concepts or styles. Like, you know, you have to change shit if you really want people to start paying attention to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason that a lot of people don't get there is because like you have to, when you're working, you have to be way more proactive, like way more focused on what you're doing. It's not passive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with Autumn? You shoot a lot of his shit too. I fuck with one of the videos you shot. What's the name of the song? It's the red background.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy ass video.
Yeah.
Like, how did y'all get locked in?
Yeah, that style that you're talking about, like that's my version of like the invention, like the shakiness and like like bright lights and shit. Which now the new shit I'm getting away from and trying to find some other sauce. But he's cool. I mean, I fuck with Autumn. It's been a while since we shot though. I haven't talked to him in a minute. Oh, but he's cool. He's always like he'll converse like right to the deep shit. You know what I mean? Like really tell you how he feels or like the state of what he sees around. It's not that like surface level.
Do you ever have to deal with artists who are like too picky about your work? They want to have too much control?
Yeah, I mean, they think they do, bro. They really think they do, but artists like that are ruining the video a lot of the time. Because if you really have like someone good who really like knows how to edit, which is hard to find, but if you really have someone good, you need to just trust them. Unless if you're coming up with a concept, like me and Glock came up with the like robbery thing for his video, totally different. But if you're just like hounding someone, especially while they're working, then I don't know. It could reduce the quality of the work. But then sometimes you get it. Like Zach was for the Sosa thing was hitting me up so often and shit. But I know he's not doing it of like, oh, it's not looking right or this or that. He just loves the thing that he's doing. So he wants to know. Yeah.
That's crazy too, because it's like I look at Zach as somebody who's amazing to me because how the fuck do you build this crazy ass brand over this simple ass logo? Like, how do you just like make it that important? But I don't think you get to that point unless you're willing to obsess over the fucking details and really want to have your taste be represented in like every last bit of it.
Totally. My mom loves FTP. She fucking loves that shit because he sent me a big box. She's like, "Oh my god, those pants! Oh my god, that shirt!"
Really?
Yeah, that's like her favorite brand. Yeah,
that's badass.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, you got anything else, Remo?
Man, where we can go with this, because I do have questions, but I feel like we covered a lot of the shit that
Hopefully I wasn't too much of a snooze fest here.
No, that was good. Super raw, man. Like, yeah. You're definitely like, when it comes to this shit, like you're the hottest tastemaker in this shit. Like you definitely got it right now.
Appreciate it.
But do you relate to that tastemaker or like influencer title? Because it's like, obviously you want your work to speak for itself, but you can't help but have people kind of ascribe that to you as you become more and more relevant, right? I
mean, it's nice. It sounds good and shit, but it's hard to justify in my head when really I just am getting high and hitting the keyboard for 12 hours straight. Like, you know what I mean? Ultimately, what I do like is sit there for a long time.
But do you feel like a gatekeeper?
I feel like what I think matters about music, yeah, to some extent, or like that it could help expose it more. Yeah, that'll say, because I've seen it like every time the video does better on the channel mostly.
Really?
Yeah,
definitely.
Any underground artists that you want to work with? Just throw it out there right now that might be listening to this.
I fuck with Netspend heavy. Me and Xavier So Bass just shot last night.
Nice.
Netspend is crazy, bro. His music is crazy. That's like all I've been listening to. Obviously, Osama. Shout out Osama.
Osama's son. You shot with him though, right?
Yeah. We shot. We're supposed to do some new shit, but we're trying to figure it out.
Boss up, man.
Yeah.
Shoot that video.
Yeah.
Man.
Talon, this new guy, Talon, who's like way smaller than who I usually work with, but I'm about to drop his video because I just believe in it that much. Which is like it's definitely a risk. You know what I mean? Going that early. He's like 20,000 monthly listeners or something, but fuck it. He's that hard.
Yeah. That's like, I learned that lesson with X like super early on, is just that taking risks on people is like the move. Like, especially with podcasting, because it's like, for me, it's like if I sit down and do an interview with somebody, it's an hour of my time plus whatever, a half hour of research beforehand or whatever. But the result that you could get from fucking with somebody super early on is just so outsized.
Totally. It could completely change a YouTube channel. It could be the result of tens of thousands or not hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Yeah.
And it could be something that you shoot in 15 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy how this shit works. How early was it with X?
It was within my first year of doing interviews.
Okay.
I'm like writing the history of the early days of No Jumper right now. So I was like looking through it, and that tripped me out. That's the rapper interview that has the most views on YouTube ever. And I did it in the first like 6 months of doing interviews somehow.
Wow.
So weird.
Does that feel like, is that fire? Or is that like, damn, like I've been doing all this other work. Like, when are we going to replicate it?
No.
But that's just X, huh? Just a unicorn.
It just makes me feel like, holy shit, that shit can just happen. Like, you know, that Cat Williams interview that Shannon Sharp did, like, that just fucking fell into his lap. He just happened to get the fucking best interview ever. Like, it's like every time you sit down with somebody, even this interview, like, I already know there will probably be hundreds or thousands of comments of kids who are super fucking inspired by this interview.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that just is like the most addictive thing ever to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna read those comments and I'm gonna enjoy reading every single one of those comments. You know, that shit never gets old.
Fuck yeah. Was that era of No Jumper like the craziest for you? Like the Perp X, that whole string of interviews?
Definitely, because I was just like I was still partying. I was still like hadn't grown up at all and shit. Like, even when I was listening to you and Cole have that conversation, like, you guys are so optimistic in that podcast about hip hop. Yeah. And that's kind of interesting because now it feels like there's a lot of doom and gloom about hip hop because it's kind of been like not as popular the last couple of years. But I think, to put things into perspective, it's still like basically the biggest genre of music, and there's still a shitload to be excited about.
There's a shitload to be excited about, and if you do have doom and gloom about the state of hip hop, consider yourself lucky because there's a bunch of other people like you who also feel the same way about hip hop or feel the opposite way about hip hop. Feel some way. As long as a bunch of people are feeling some type of way, it's gonna come back around and everything will be hunky dory. People still care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It proves that the audience is still there if a bunch of people are talking about it.
Yeah, it's not.
They may not like what's going on, but that's fine. You can guarantee something's gonna come up that you like.
Facts.
Yeah, and like this intersection, it all leads to these different roads of like different teams and whatever. You follow a road, you'll find like some music. You know what I mean? You'll find something you like.
If you had to give some advice to like the 16-year-old version of yourself or the 18-year-old version of yourself, because there's probably a lot of people who've basically fit that description out there where they got a lot of creative energy and they want to do something dope with their life, but they haven't really gotten started 100% yet, what would you say to that version of yourself?
I would say people are more accessible than you think, I would say. Like, even if it's just finding someone who knows more about a certain aspect of video making, like shooting or DPs and stuff, like find those resources ASAP and learn ASAP, because doing it yourself, you could do both. You know what I mean? First find out about it, like from the horse's mouth, and then do it yourself. Cause you'll save a lot of time that way, which I've wasted a lot of time, like trial and error wise and stuff, which is important. And then also I would say, I don't know, I got a lot. Like if you just want the bag, like if you just want to do something editing related and you just want the bag, do color, get really good at color grading. You'll make a lot of money and without leaving your house ever. And these guys could do a video in like 2 hours, like 1,000 video, do a couple of those every day. That's what I would do. Don't go the channel route if you don't have some years to spend on it, I would say. And if you don't go that route, then do the industry route and try and up the value as much as possible. And by talking to those people that I was saying that are pretty accessible, you will get videos pretty fast. And I don't know, just grind and keep yourself inspired. I don't know. What else is there? Yeah.
I fuck with it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who need to hear that shit. So I appreciate it, man. This was a very energizing conversation for
Thanks,
sure.
dude. Now I'm so tempted to just ask you shit about fucking I'm such a historian of this shit, bro.
When you start doing your podcast again, I'll come on.
Will you?
Sure.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But I don't believe that you're
awesome.
really going to bring it back, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did D Savage not too long ago.
Oh,
yeah.
you did?
Okay. I mean, it's been a couple months, but like not like years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We can do that whenever. That'd be sick.
Dude, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. My guy. All right. No Jumper. Coolest podcast in the world. Thank you, Remo. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram, etc. Like, comment, and subscribe. NoJumper.com if you want to support.